will become the most important Serb dukedom. At the time of the Byzantine offensive from Dyrrhachium, there was another one following the orders of the Byzantine Emperor and led by the Ban of Bosnia, the Župan of Raška, and the Duke of Zahumlje, under the immediate command of Ljudovit, who had the rank of the Byzantine strategos. This expedition failed after a duel in which Ljudovit was severely wounded and his army scattered. Soon after these successes, around 1044, Stephen Vojislav died in his court at Prapratna. He was inherited by the sons Goislav, Predimir, Mihailo, Saganek, and Radoslav. The Queen Mother took care of the unity of the country, but following her death in 1046, Mihailo became the supreme ruler of Duklja. Byzantium concluded peace with him around 1050. Mihailo received the Byzantine rank of Protospater and married the Byzantine princess, emperor's cousin, most likely the daughter of Helen, sister of the Byzantine Emperor Constantine IX Monomachos. Mihailo probably received Kotor as part of the dowry, as it is mentioned by the priest of Duklja as the place where the court of Mihailo's wife was located. With his Greek wife, he had 4 sons: Dobroslav, Petrislav, Nisifor, and Theodore. He also had 7 sons from the previous marriage: Vladimir, Priyaslav, Sergei, Deria, Gabriel, Miroslav, and Bodin. Following the peace deal with Byzantium, Mihailo enjoyed fruits of it until 1072, when Duklja began another offensive against her neighbors. At the time, there was a rebellion in Bulgaria, and at the gathering in Skopje, led by George Wojtek, Bulgarian lords decided to renew the Bulgarian Empire. As it was known that Stephen Vojislav used to be married to Samuil's cousin, thus making Mihailo blood relative to the famous Bulgarian emperor, they demanded a member of the Dukljan dynasty to be sent as the new emperor. Mihailo took advantage of the opportunity. He sent his son Bodin and the military commander Petril with 300 men in order to help the rebels and at the same time get in contact with Normans in South Italy in order to obtain military assistance from them as well. The support that the Duke of Duklja gave to the rebels caused the war with Byzantium. In the late fall of 1072, Bodin was crowned Bulgarian emperor in Prizren and changed his name into Peter, which was in line with the tradition of ruling names of the Bulgarian Empire. From there, he sent Petril to the south to Kastoria, and Bodin himself proceeded northwards with most of the army. Troops led by Petril were defeated, and he barely escaped alive back to Duklja. In the meantime, Byzantines retook Skopje and captured George Wojtek. They forced him to send a message to Bodin, who was then near Niš, asking him to return immediately to Skopje. Byzantines ambushed Bodin's army somewhere near Kosovo and defeated it thoroughly. Bodin himself was captured and taken to the monastery of St. Sergei and Vak in Constantinople. It seems that the war continued after the arrival of Norman units, but they were defeated as well. The Norman commander who married Mihailo's daughter then took the Byzantine side. The war continued until 1075. According to the peace terms, Dukla did not gain territorial expansion, but demonstrated that it could wage war against Byzantium. The survival of Dukla was not at stake anymore, but whether she or Byzantium will have primacy among Serbian dukedoms. Bodin was transferred from the monastery of St. Sergei in Vak to Antioch, from where his father managed to buy his freedom with the aid of Venice merchants, and then bring him back to Dukla. In the spring of 1081, Mihailo organized marriage of Bodin and Jacinta, daughter of the Norman party leader from Bari in Italy, Archiris. This political marriage meant reliance of Duklan dynasty on Normans. By October 1081, Bodin already ruled by himself, so it is assumed that his father must have died at some time between May and September of that year. In October 1081, Robert Guiscard, leader of the Normans from South Italy, embarked near Dyrrhachium and surrounded the city. According to the agreement with Byzantium, Bodin was obliged to help Byzantium. He led the troops near Dyrrhachium, but after seeing that Byzantine army was losing the battle, withdrew without taking any part in it. His decision was quite pragmatic. Having just taken the throne of Dukla, Bodin did not strengthen his position yet. His uncle Radoslav was an adversary, so during the next year, Bodin strengthened his rule in Dukla while appointing his uncle Radoslav as the administrator of Travunia. After that, using Byzantine occupation with the war against Normans, Bodin started a number of conquests in the interior. Around 1083, he took Serbia and Bosnia. He installed Duke Stephen on the throne of Bosnia, and in Serbia, that is to say Raška, placed two župans from his own court, Vukan and Mark. Thus, Bodin's Dukla, through the system of vassal states, extended her influence to almost all Serbian lands. After 1085 and the final defeat of Normans, Bodin continued war against Byzantium. This lasted until 1090, when he was defeated and captured. Only a year later, Bodin was free again, ready for more exploits, but he never completely recovered from the 1090 defeat. Between 1092 and 1096, he laid siege to Byzantine Dubrovnik, where his cousins, he believed endangered his supreme rule, took refuge. The conflict within the ruling house of Dukla was probably in part caused by Byzantine diplomacy, which helped the sons of Bodin's uncle Radoslav. Even though he could not take Dubrovnik, Bodin blocked it by building a tower close to the city, causing hardship that will only end after Bodin's death in 1099. In the late fall of 1096, crusading army will pass through Dukla on its way to the Holy Land. Crusaders' leaders met Bodin in Skadar, exchanged vows and precious gifts. This is the last time that Bodin is mentioned. He died soon after this. Most likely, he was not even 50 years old. The dynasty that Bodin established in Serbia by sending Vukan and Mark will become primogenitors of the Serbian Nemanjić.